Leviticus chapter 18. The land remembers what the flesh forgets. Part 1. The biogenetic firewalls of the covenant. Pull up a chair, open your damn ears, and get your notebooks out, because Brother Betshadi Lamed Aleph Lamed is back on the air, and we are not playing these religious games today. Welcome back to another heavy-hitting broadcast of Yah First Ministries. If you tuned in expecting some soft-ass, feel-good, prosperity preaching garbage, you clicked on the wrong link, motherfucker. Go back to your Sunday morning circus where some clown in a shiny suit tells you how to get a Cadillac while your soul rots in ignorance. On this channel, we deal in raw, uncut, unfiltered Torah truth. We are here to feed the sheep who are starving for the meat of the word, not the watered-down, pasteurized milk that these lying pastors have been feeding you to keep you sleeping like babies. Today, we are launching into a 3-part investigation that is going to shake the very foundation of how you understand holiness, biology, and the physical reality of the covenant. We are diving head first into the depths of Leviticus chapter 18. Over the course of this 3-part series, we are going to tear down the lies and expose the absolute necessity of the laws of separation. The world wants you to think that Leviticus is just a dusty list of ancient, outdated rules about who you can and cannot sleep with. They want you to believe that Yah was just being approved, or that these laws were nailed to some cross so you can go out and live like absolute beasts. That is a goddamn lie, straight from the pits of the religious establishment. In this first part, we are breaking down verses 1 through 10. We are going to look at the biogenetic firewalls that the Most High engineered into the very fabric of our bloodline. We are going to expose how sexual deviancy is not just a moral issue. It is a direct hack of your biological system, a corruption of the genetic source code that Yah wrote in your DNA. We are going to look at how the ancient nations of Mem, Sadeh, Resh, Yad, Mem, Egypt, and Kaf, Nun, Ayin, Nun, Canaan, ran corrupted operating systems, and why the Father commanded our ancestors to completely wipe their software from our hardware. We are going to strip away the kindergarten euphemisms and talk about what actually happened in those tents, why Noah cursed Kaf, Nun, Ayin, Nun, and how the violation of these boundaries literally short-circuits the biological machinery of the Israelite body. So buckle up, because we are going deep into the blueprint. Verses 1 through 5, the covenant operating system. And Yad-Heh Wah-Heh spake unto Mem-Shin-Heh, saying, look at how this chapter opens. The text does not say some committee got together to write a code of ethics. It says, Yad-Heh Wah-Heh spoke directly to Mem-Shin-Heh. When we look at the name Mem-Shin-Heh, we have to break it down in the original Paleo-Hebrew script, not that modern, block-shaped Babylonian garbage the fake Jews use, but the ancient pictographs that carry the actual frequency of creation. Mem-Shin-Heh is spelled Mem-Shin-Heh. Mem is the pictograph of water, representing chaos, massive flow, or a mighty wave. Shin is the pictograph of 2 front teeth, meaning to consume, destroy, or press down. He is the pictograph of a man with his hands raised, meaning to behold, reveal, or breathe life. So when you read Mem-Shin-Heh, the letters literally mean, behold the one who draws out of the consuming waters of chaos. This is not just a historical name, family. This is an engineering specification. Yah was broadcasting his divine data stream on a secure, high-frequency channel directly to Mem-Shin-Heh, who acted as the receiver. Think of Mem-Shin-Heh as a high-gain antenna designed to capture the raw, uncompiled source code of the universe and translate it into a language that the hardware of Yad, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, Israel, could process. The church wants you to think this is just some old man talking to a burning bush. That is bullshit. This was a direct, localized transmission of electromagnetic and spiritual data. The Father did not delegate this to some winged, halo-wearing cartoon angel. There are no separate winged creatures running errands for the Creator. That is pagan mythology. When the text says the angel of Yod he while he appeared, that was Yah himself extending his presence, manifesting his power in a physical form to deliver the blueprints. This aligns with Acts chapter 7, verse 38, which confirms that the voice on Mount Sinai was the direct manifestation of the living Elohim, delivering the lively oracles to our fathers. Speak unto the children of Yod, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, and say unto them, I am Yod, Hey, Wow, Hey, your Elohim. Now we hear verse 2. The Father tells Mem Shin He to speak to the children of Yod, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed. Let us break down that name in the Paleo Hebrew. Yod, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed. Yod is the hand, representing work, deed, or act of power. Shin is the teeth, meaning to consume or destroy. Resh is the head of a man, meaning the first, the chief, or the leader. Aleph is the ox head, representing strength or the ultimate power. Lamed is the shepherd's staff, representing authority or the yoke of instruction. Put that code together, and Yod, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed means the hand of the chief strength consumes under the authority of the leader. This is your identity, you scattered Negroes. You are not African Americans. You are not West Indians. You are not Latinos. Those are slave master labels designed to keep your heads up your asses. You are the biological descendants of Yod, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed, the engineered priesthood of the earth. When Yah says, I am Yod, Hey, Wow, Hey, your Elohim, he is establishing the biometric authentication protocol. He is saying, I am the master engineer who compiled your DNA, and your system only runs correctly when it is aligned with my frequency. This is a declaration of absolute ownership. It completely demolishes the universalist garbage taught in these modern whoredoms called churches, where they tell you that Yah loves everybody and wants to save every nation. That is a damn lie. This covenant is a closed-loop network. It is restricted access. This is confirmed in Psalms chapter 147, verses 19 and 20, where the Father declares, He shows His word unto Yod Ayin Kof Bet, Jacob, and His statutes unto Yod Shin Resh Aleph Lamed, and He has not dealt so with any other nation. If you are not of this seed line, you do not have the access codes, period. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Look at verse 3. The Father is telling our people that they cannot run the software of the heathen. He names two specific geographic regions, Mem Sade, Resh Yud Mem, Egypt, and Kaf Nun, Ayin Nun, Canaan. Why? Because these lands were infected with massive systemic malware. The doings of these nations were not just bad habits. They were highly sophisticated, ritualistic hacks designed to corrupt the human machine. The Egyptians and the Canaanites were practicing extreme sexual perversion, beast mixing, and blood rituals. They were running a corrupted operating system that degraded their biological hardware. Think of Egypt and Canaan as infected networks. If you connect your clean device to a dirty network, what happens? You get infected with Trojans, spyware, and viruses that eat your system from the inside out. Yah is telling Israel, you have been quarantined. I dragged your asses out of the Egyptian server, and I am bringing you into a new territory, but you cannot download their corrupted files. The word ordinances here refers to their cultural laws, their social norms, their legal structures. The Father is warning us that just because a society legalizes a behavior does not mean it is compatible with your biology. Look at America and the Western world today, the modern archetype of Babylon. They have legalized every form of filth, from sodomy to the mutilation of children's bodies, and you dumbass Negroes are lining up to download their software. You want to walk in their ordinances, dress like them, sleep like them, and then you wonder why your communities are full of disease, violence, and death. You are running the Canaanite operating system on Israelite hardware, and it is causing a total system crash. Ye shall do my judgments, and keep mine ordinances, to walk therein. I am Yad-Heh-Wah-Heh, your Elohim. In verse 4, the master engineer gives us the clean code. You shall do my judgments, and keep mine ordinances. The judgments are the system rules. The ordinances are the operational protocols. When you execute these commands, you are running a clean, optimized program. This is not about some religious ritual to make you feel holy on a Saturday. This is about maintaining the structural integrity of your physical and spiritual vessel. The human body is the most complex machine ever engineered. It has an electrical nervous system, a hydraulic circulatory system, a chemical processing plant in the liver, and a biological source code written in DNA. When Yah says, walk therein, he is telling us to keep our biological and spiritual systems within the design parameters. If you buy a high-performance sports car, you do not put cheap, dirty kerosene in the tank and expect it to run. You use high-octane fuel. You follow the manufacturer's manual. The Torah is the manufacturer's manual for the Israelite machine. When you violate the manual, you cause friction, wear, and eventual catastrophic failure. This is why Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 24 says, the Father commanded us to do all these statutes for our good always, that he might preserve us alive. It is a preservation protocol, not a religious burden. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am Yad-Heh-Wah-Heh. Verse 5 is the ultimate confirmation of the biological feedback loop, which if a man do, he shall live in them. This is a literal statement of physics and biology. Obedience to the laws of Yah is life extension technology. It is a scheduled maintenance cycle that prevents the degradation of your cellular structure. Let us bridge this to modern technology so you can actually feel what the Father is saying. When you run a computer, it accumulates junk files, temporary data, and fragmented sectors. If you never run a defragmentation process, if you never clear the cache, the system slows down, overheats, and eventually fries the motherboard. The Sabbath, Saturday, from sunrise to sunset, is a scheduled system reboot. The dietary laws are biological firewalls that prevent toxic, heavy metal-laden scavengers like pigs and shellfish from poisoning your digestive engine. The moral and sexual laws are genetic firewalls that prevent the corruption of your DNA. If you keep the code, the machine lives. If you hack the code, the machine dies. It is that simple. There is no magic, no mystery, no spooky theology here. It is pure, hard-nosed, spiritual, and physical engineering. This is confirmed in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 and 2, where the Father tells us not to forget his law, but to let our hearts keep his commandments, because length of days and long life and peace shall they add to us. The church told you the law was a curse, but the master engineer says the law is your life support system. Verses 6 through 10, the biogenetic firewalls. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am Yad-Heh-Wah-Heh. Now we are getting into the heavy meat of the chapter, and we have to talk about things that make these soft, sensitive church folks uncomfortable. In verse 6, the Father lays down the absolute law of genetic separation. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. Let us strip away the polite, sanitized language. Uncovering nakedness is a Hebrew idiom for sexual intercourse. Yah is forbidding incest. He is drawing a hard line around the family structure. Why did the master engineer write this code? Let us look at the genetics under the hood. Your DNA is a double helix architecture carrying the instruction set for your entire physical body. When two unrelated individuals reproduce, their genetic material combines, and any recessive mutations or damaged genes in one parent's line are usually masked or corrected by the healthy dominant genes of the other parent. It is like having a redundant backup system in a dual processor server. But when you mate with someone near of kin, a sibling, a parent, a close relative, you are combining two highly similar genetic profiles. If there is a corrupted line of code, a genetic defect, or a mutation in that family line, both parents will carry it. When those seeds combine, the redundant backup fails. The corrupted code is duplicated, magnified, and written directly into the offspring's operating system. This leads to massive physical deformities, mental retardation, immune system collapse, and genetic dead ends. Yah engineered the Israelite bloodline to be pure, strong, and highly resilient. By forbidding near-kin mating, he established a biological firewall that prevents genetic degradation. The heathen nations of Egypt and Canaan did not have this firewall. Their royal lines were plagued with hemophilia, madness, and physical decay because they were constantly sleeping with their sisters and mothers to keep the power in the family. It was absolute brainless bullshit, and it destroyed their populations from the inside out. Yah says, I am Yad-Heh-Wah-Heh. He is signing his name to this biological law, declaring that he designed the genetic code and he knows exactly how to keep it from crashing. The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Verse 7 hits the absolute root of the maternal boundary. The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. This is a direct prohibition against a son sleeping with his mother. The text says, she is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. This is a violation of the fundamental hierarchy of creation. Let us look at the spiritual and physical architecture here. The mother is the soil. The father is the seed. The mother's womb is the engineered incubation chamber where the father's seed is compiled into a physical body. For a son to go back into the womb that birthed him is a massive, catastrophic feedback loop. It is like plugging an output cable of an amplifier directly back into the input jack. What happens when you do that? You get a deafening, destructive screech of feedback that destroys the speakers and fries the circuit board. It is a total disruption of the energetic and biological order. This is why the Father hates this wickedness with a perfect hatred. It completely shatters the authority structure of the home. The mother is set in a position of nurturing and maternal authority under the father. For the son to violate her bed is to usurp the father's authority and reduce the mother to an object of lust. It is pure confusion, and it brings immediate spiritual and physical judgment. This is confirmed in Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 20, which declares, Cursed be he that lieth with his father's wife, because he uncovereth his father's skirt. It is a curse that writes itself into the very bones of the lineage. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Now look closely at verse 8. This is a major key, and this is where we have to expose the absolute lies of these kindergarten preachers who don't know how to read Hebrew idioms. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. Notice it says thy father's wife, which includes stepmothers. But more importantly, look at the phrase, it is thy father's nakedness. Sleeping with your father's wife is legally and spiritually equivalent to violating your father directly. This is the key that unlocks the real truth about what happened in the tent of Nun-Ket Noah. These lying, coward pastors tell you that Ham's sin was just that he walked into the tent, saw his father Nun-Ket naked, and went and told his brothers. That is absolute, watered down horse shit. You mean to tell me that Nun-Ket cursed an entire branch of his descendants, condemning Kaf, Nun, Ayin, Nun to perpetual slavery just because Ham saw him without his pants on? That makes no damn sense. Let us use some real scriptural discernment. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 8 tells us plainly, "The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness." When Ham went into that tent, he did not just look at Nun-Ket. Ham went in and sexually violated Nun-Ket's wife. His own mother was stepmother, while Nun-Ket was passed out drunk. It was a hostile, rebellious act of sexual dominance to usurp his father's authority. The proof is in the curse. Nun-Ket did not curse Ham. He cursed Kaf Nun Ayin Nun. Why curse the grandson for something the father did? Because Kaf Nun Ayin Nun was the bastard product of that incestuous, abominable union. Kaf Nun Ayin Nun was conceived in the defilement of Nun-Ket's bed. He was cursed from the womb because his very existence was a violation of the genetic firewall. That is why the Canaanites were a cursed, degenerate, wicked people destined for utter destruction. Yah commanded Israel to wipe them out because their entire bloodline was compiled in wickedness. Stop letting these church house frauds sanitize the Bible for your sensitive ears. The scriptures are graphic, they are raw, and they show you exactly how sexual sin corrupts the lineage. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. Verse 9 blocks the sibling loop. The nakedness of thy sister, whether she be born at home or born abroad. This covers full sisters and half sisters, whether they grew up in the same household or were born to different families. The master engineer is shutting down every loophole. Why is this sibling boundary so critical? Because siblings share approximately 50% of their genetic code. If you allow sibling mating, you are drastically increasing the probability of homozygosity, where the offspring inherits identical alleles for a gene from both parents. If those alleles carry genetic diseases, the child has a 100% chance of expressing that disease. It is like running a software program where half the instructions are duplicated errors. The system will glitch, freeze, and crash. But there is also a profound social and spiritual engineering layer here. The family unit is designed to be a safe harbor, a training ground for order, discipline, and covenant love. If you introduce sexual desire into the sibling relationship, you turn the home into a hotbed of jealousy, rivalry, and animalistic lust. You destroy the sisterhood and brotherhood. You reduce a spiritual sanctuary to a cheap, dirty brothel. Yah engineered the home to be a clean room, like a microchip fabrication plant where there is zero dust, zero contamination. If you let the dust of sexual lust into the clean room, you ruin the chips. This is why in 2 Samuel chapter 13, when Amnon violated his sister Tamar, it destroyed the entire house of Dalet David, leading to murder, rebellion, and national crisis. It is a virus that tears the family structure to pieces. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. We close out this first part with verse 10. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. The father is forbidding grandfathers from sleeping with their granddaughters. Look at the technical description he uses. For theirs is thine own nakedness. This is pure biological science. Your grandchildren carry your direct genetic legacy. They are the continuation of your seed line, 2 generations down the line of compilation. To cross that gap and sleep with your granddaughter is to attempt to write your current data back onto a future iteration of your own source code. It is a massive, corrupting loop that violates the linear flow of time and generation that Yah established. Think of your lineage as a blockchain. Each generation is a block of data that must be verified, sealed, and linked to the next block in a linear, forward-moving chain. If you try to link block 3 directly back to block 1 through a sexual union, you break the chain. You create an invalid block, a fork in the network that corrupts the entire ledger. Yah says, "Theirs is thine own nakedness." He is telling you that your descendants are not objects for your fleshly consumption. They are the temple vessels of the future, and you must protect their genetic and spiritual integrity with your life. Our people are destroyed because they do not understand these boundaries. We have grandfathers and uncles in our communities violating our young girls, running these nasty, demonic, Canaanite spirits in our households, and then we wonder why our children are born with curses, why our families are broken, and why the land is vomiting us out. We have broken the firewalls. We have let the malware in, but the seal is broken now, family. The truth is going forth, and we are handing you the keys to rebuild the temple. In part 2 of this episode, we are going to move into verses 11 through 20, where we are going to look at the deeper layers of the genetic firewalls, the laws of uncleanness, and how these boundaries protect the spiritual frequency of the house of Yad, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed. Do not turn that dial. Do not close your notebooks, because we are just getting started. Get ready for part 2. Part 2. The genetic firewalls and the systemic hacks. We just shut down the first 10 verses of Leviticus chapter 18, exposing how the master engineer built biogenetic firewalls to protect the purity of the Israelite seed. Now, we are stepping right back into the blueprint at verse 11 to dissect the rest of these structural boundaries and expose how the enemy tries to hack our biological hardware. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Look at verse 11. The master engineer is doubling down on the sibling boundary, specifically addressing the daughter of your father's wife, begotten of your father. This is your half-sister through your father's line. Let us break down the Paleo-Hebrew word for sister, which is akat, spelled Aleph, Ket, Taw. Aleph is the ox head, representing strength or the leader. Ket is the tent wall, representing separation, privacy, or a boundary. Taw is the cross sticks, representing a sign, a mark, or a covenant. When you read the Paleo-Hebrew pictographs from left to right, akat literally means the strength of the separation of the covenant. This is not just a family title, you sleeping Negroes. A sister is genetically and covenantally engineered to be a wall of separation, not a playground for your carnal lust. When Yah says she is begotten of your father, he is pointing directly to the patrilineal transmission of the seed. Your father's seed is the source code. If you take that source code and try to run it in a parallel loop with a half-sister who shares that same paternal source code, you create a massive data collision on the system bus. Think of your family's genetic line as an encrypted network partition. If you run 2 identical read-write operations on the same sector of a hard drive at the same time, the system freezes, the partition corrupts, and you get a blue screen of death. That is what incest does to the physical vessel. It duplicates the corrupted sectors of the DNA, causing physical deformities, mental retardation, and genetic decay. The church wants to tell you that these laws are done away with, that you can do whatever feels good because of some cheap, greasy grace. That is a goddamn lie, straight from the pits of hell. The biological laws of the master engineer do not care about your emotional feelings or your garbage theology. If you jump off a 10-story building, Gravity is gonna smash your ass into a wet puddle on the pavement, whether you believe in gravity or not. The same applies to the genetic laws of the Torah. If you violate the firewall, the system will execute the judgment protocol and write the curse directly into your offspring's hardware. This aligns with Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 22, which declares a curse upon anyone who lies with his sister, the daughter of his father, or the daughter of his mother. It is an automatic system crash. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman. Now look at verse 12. The father is blocking the paternal aunt boundary. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman. The Hebrew word for aunt or beloved here is dodah, spelled dalet wa dalet he. Dalet is the tent door, representing a pathway, an entrance, or a movement. Wa is the tent peg, representing securing, binding, or hooking together. He is the man with raised hands, representing revealing, beholding, or breathing. So Dodah means the door that binds and reveals the household. An aunt is a structural pillar of the father's house. She carries the same genetic foundation as your father. When you approach her carnally, you are violating the very door that secures your father's generation. Let us look at this through the lens of modern electrical engineering. If you take a high voltage power line and connect it directly to the ground wire of the same circuit breaker, you do not get power. You get a catastrophic short circuit that blows the entire generator. The father's sister carries the maternal and paternal genetics of your grandparents. She is too close to the source. The heathen nations of the ancient world were constantly running these short circuits. They would sleep with their aunts and nieces to consolidate land, wealth, and power. They thought they were being smart, but they were actually frying their own biological motherboards. Their children were born with blood diseases, weak bones, and minds so scrambled they couldn't tell left from right. Yah pulled Israel out of that genetic swamp and said, "You are a set-apart nation. You cannot run these dirty, short-circuited programs." This is confirmed in Leviticus chapter 20, verse 19, which declares that those who uncover the nakedness of their aunt shall bear their iniquity. They shall die childless or carry the genetic weight of their rebellion. The master engineer designed your lineage to flow outward, to expand and multiply under strict structural parameters, not to fold back in on itself like a collapsing star. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. Verse 13 mirrors the previous verse, but applies it to the maternal side. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. Why does the master engineer write a separate line of code for the mother's sister? Because the maternal genetic contribution has its own unique biological architecture. Let us look at the science under the hood. Every cell in your body contains mitochondria, which are the power plants of the cell, generating the adenosine triphosphate that keeps your heart beating and your brain firing. Mitochondria contain their own separate DNA, and that mitochondrial DNA is inherited exclusively from your mother. Your father's seed does not contribute to your mitochondrial BIOS. It comes entirely from the egg of the mother. Therefore, your mother's sister carries the exact same mitochondrial firmware as your mother. If you violate the maternal aunt, you are attempting to write data back into the primary power supply of your maternal lineage. It is a direct hack of the biological energy grid. The church house clowns will tell you that this is just ancient tribal hygiene. They are too busy shaking their asses on Sunday and begging for your tithing money to actually study the engineering of the Most High. They do not understand that the Torah is a technical manual for the preservation of the human machine. When you sleep with your mother's sister, you are doubling up on the maternal mitochondrial mutations. If there is a defect in their maternal line, you have just stripped away the genetic redundancy that was designed to protect the offspring. You are leaving the child's system wide open to autoimmune collapse, muscular dystrophy, and cellular degradation. This is why the father says she is near of kin. It is a biological proximity warning. It is like a flashing red light on the dashboard of a jet airliner telling the pilot that he is flying too close to the terrain. If you ignore the warning, you are going to slam that plane straight into the side of a mountain and burn every passenger to a crisp. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thine aunt. Look at verse 14. The father is expanding the firewall to include the uncle and his wife. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thine aunt. Notice the wording here. The text says, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother, and then immediately explains how you do that. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. This is a major key in scriptural jurisprudence. Sleeping with your uncle's wife is legally and spiritually equivalent to violating your uncle directly. Why? Because the husband and wife are joined together as one flesh. They are a single, integrated, biological, and legal unit. When you violate the wife, you are hacking the husband's secure database. Let us look at this through the lens of modern network security. If a hacker wants to compromise a secure government server, he does not always attack the main mainframe directly. Sometimes he targets a trusted third-party vendor or a connected terminal that has access to the network. The wife is the connected terminal of the husband's house. When you approach her carnally, you are injecting malicious code into the uncle's household. You are violating the fraternal bond between your father and his brother. The family unit is designed to be a secure, local area network where resources, protection, and covenant instruction are shared without friction. If you introduce sexual competition and betrayal into that network, you create a massive denial of service attack. The trust is shattered, the communication lines are severed, and the entire family structure collapses into a state of war. This is what happened in the ancient world when brothers fought over wives and concubines, leading to the slaughter of entire houses. Yah says, keep the network clean. Your uncle's wife is off limits. She is protected by a spiritual and physical firewall. And if you attempt to bypass that security clearance, the master engineer will personally log your transgression and execute the judgment protocol. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law. She is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Verse 15 hits the daughter-in-law boundary. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law. She is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Let us break down the Paleo-Hebrew word for daughter-in-law, which is kala, spelled Kaf, Lamed, He. Kaf is the open hand, representing bending, taming, or opening. Lamed is the shepherd's staff, representing authority, instruction, or a yoke. He is the man with hands raised, representing revealing or beholding. So kala means the hand that submits to the authority of the household. The daughter-in-law enters your house to be built up under the authority of your son, to carry his seed and continue his lineage. For a father to step in and sleep with his daughter-in-law is an act of supreme treachery. It is a total subversion of the generational hierarchy. Let us look at the biological engineering here. The father's seed is the source code of the previous generation. The son's seed is the compiled version of that code, updated for the next generation. If the father sleeps with the daughter-in-law, he is overwriting his son's compiled code with his own legacy code. He is creating a massive generational overlap that scrambles the lineage. Is the child of that union the son's brother or the son's child? Is the father the grandfather or the actual father? It is pure, unadulterated confusion. This is why the Father hates this wickedness. It is a direct violation of the biological clockwork of creation. This aligns with Leviticus chapter 20, verse 12, which declares that if a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. Their blood shall be upon them. The word confusion in Hebrew is tabel, which means a violation of nature, a mixing of things that should never be mixed. It is like taking gasoline and mixing it with your drinking water. You cannot drink it and you cannot put it in your car. It is useless, toxic garbage. Yah engineered Israel to be a clean, orderly stream of living water, not a stagnant pool of toxic, incestuous waste. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Look at verse 16. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Here we see the exact same principle we saw with the uncle's wife. Sleeping with your brother's wife is equivalent to violating your brother directly. That is use some real scriptural discernment here and expose the absolute ignorance of these modern churchgoers. They would read this verse and then they would jump over to Deuteronomy chapter 25 verse 5, where the Torah commands a man to marry his deceased brother's wife to raise up seed for his brother. And they will scratch their dumb heads and say, see, the Bible contradicts itself. One verse says you can't sleep with her, and another verse says you have to. That is because you do not have the spirit of discernment, you simple-minded fools. You are reading the scriptures like a comic book instead of a technical manual. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 16 is talking about your brother's wife while your brother is still alive or if they are divorced. It is a prohibition against adultery and covetousness within the family. You cannot touch your brother's wife because she is his nakedness. But if your brother dies childless, his name and his lineage are in danger of being wiped out of the earth. In that specific engineer scenario, the master engineer created an override protocol called the Leviride marriage. The surviving brother steps in, not to satisfy his own carnal lust, but as a legal and biological proxy to write his deceased brother's name back into the blockchain of Israel. The firstborn child of that union does not carry the surviving brother's name. He carries the name of the dead brother. It is a self-sacrificing act of covenant preservation, not a license for incest. If you do not understand the difference between a standard system rule and an emergency override protocol, you will crash the system every single time. This is why John the Baptist, Yochanan the Immerser, lost his head. He went to Herod and told him plainly, "It is not lawful for thee to have thy brother Philip's wife." Herod had violated Leviticus chapter 18 verse 16 because Philip was still alive. It was an act of treason against the biological and spiritual order of Israel, and Yochanan stood on the Torah and called that wicked king out to his face, even though it cost him his life. That is the kind of bold, uncompromising fire we need in these last days, not these soft, cowardly pastors who are afraid to speak against the wickedness of the government because they might lose their tax-exempt status. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswomen. It is wickedness. Verse 17 hits the multi-generational female boundary. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter, for they are her near kinswomen. It is wickedness. The Hebrew word for wickedness here is zimah, spelled Zion, Mem, He. Zion is the weapon, representing cutting, harvesting, or food. Mem is the water, representing chaos, massive flow, or a mighty wave. He is the man with raised hands, representing revealing or beholding. So zimah means the weapon of chaos revealed. When you sleep with a woman and her daughter or granddaughter, you are unleashing a weapon of absolute chaos into the family structure. You are destroying the natural boundaries between generations. Let us look at this through the lens of modern database management. If you have a relational database, you have primary keys and foreign keys that link tables together in a strict hierarchical structure. If you write a query that links a parent record directly to its child record and its grandchild record in a circular reference, you create an infinite loop that locks up the entire database engine. The server's central processing unit will spike to 100% utilization, the memory will leak, and the system will crash. That is what Zimmer does to the family. It creates a circular reference of sexual relationships that shatters the emotional, psychological, and spiritual stability of the home. The mother becomes the rival of her own daughter. The grandmother becomes the competitor of her granddaughter. It is a sick, demonic, twisted game of musical chairs that reduces the holy covenant of marriage to a cheap, dirty animal farm. Yah says it is wickedness. He did not design the Israelite family to be a free-for-all. He designed it to be a temple of order, where each generation respects the boundaries of the next. If you break these boundaries, you are inviting the wrath of the master engineer into your life, and he will personally execute the database cleanup, purging your name from the book of life and leaving your lineage to rot in the dust. Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister, to vex her, to uncover her nakedness, beside the other in her lifetime. Look at verse 18. Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister, to vex her, to uncover her nakedness, beside the other in her lifetime. This is a direct prohibition against marrying two sisters at the same time. Let us look at the history of our people to understand why the master engineer wrote this code. Our father, Yod Ayin Kof Bet, Jacob, married two sisters, Leah and Rachel, because he was deceived by their father, Laban. What happened in that household? It was a constant, exhausting war of jealousy, rivalry, and emotional torment. Leah was vexed because Yod Ayin Kof Bet loved Rachel more. Rachel was vexed because Leah was bearing children while her own womb was shut. They were constantly competing for the husband's bed, using their handmaids as biological weapons in a desperate struggle for dominance. It was a stressful, chaotic environment that nearly tore the family apart before the 12 tribes were even fully established. Yah looked at that historical data and said, never again. He wrote a specific line of code to prevent this emotional and spiritual warfare. To vex her in Hebrew is sarah, which means to bind, to cramp, to distress, or to adversary. When you bring a sister into the marriage bed alongside her own sister, you are turning natural allies into bitter adversaries. You are cramping their spirits and filling the home with toxic, negative frequencies. The home is supposed to be a sanctuary of peace, a place where the spirit of the Most High can dwell. If you fill it with the frequency of Sarah, you are driving the spirit of Yah out of your house. This is why the father forbids this union during the sister's lifetime. He is protecting the sisterly bond. He is protecting the emotional health of the women. He is showing us that marriage is not just about satisfying your fleshly desires. It is about maintaining spiritual and emotional equilibrium within the camp of Israel. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart for her uncleanness. Now we hit verse 19, and we have to talk about something that makes these modern, sanitized church folks squirm in their seats. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart for her uncleanness. This is the law of the menstrual cycle, the nida. Let us look at the biological engineering of this law. Menstruation is not a curse. It is a highly sophisticated engineered system flush. Every month, the female body prepares the womb for a potential seed by building up a nutrient-rich endometrial lining. If no fertilization occurs, The body executes the cleanup protocol. It sheds that lining, flushing out the unfertilized egg, the old tissue, and the accumulated toxins. It is a literal system reboot, a clearing of the cellular cache to prepare the womb for the next cycle. During this flushing process, the woman's body is in a state of vulnerability and detoxification. The cervix is dilated, making her reproductive tract highly susceptible to infection and bacterial contamination. The blood and tissue being discharged are waste products of the system reboot. For a man to approach her carnally during this time is to inject foreign biological material into a system that is actively trying to flush itself out. It is like trying to upload a file to a server while it is running a system-wide disk cleanup and defragmentation process. What happens? You corrupt the files, you interrupt the cleanup, and you introduce malware into the system. The master engineer built a quarantine protocol called NETA to protect the woman's health and the man's spiritual frequency. He said she is to be put apart. It is a scheduled maintenance cycle. But let us look at the deeper, prophetic shadow of this law. The physical uncleanness of the NETA was a shadow pointing to the spiritual uncleanness of our nation. When Israel went whoring after other gods, practicing the abominations of the heathen, the prophets described our spiritual state as the uncleanness of a removed woman. Isaiah chapter 64, verse 6 says, "All our righteousnesses are as filthy rags," which is a direct reference to the menstrual garments of the NETA. We were in a state of spiritual system crash, constantly discharging the toxins of our rebellion. But praise be to the Most High, because He did not leave us in that state of quarantine. He sent Yod-Heh-Wah-Shanayan, Jesus, to be the final purification, to shed His blood once and for all, to cleanse our biological and spiritual hardware. When the woman with the issue of blood touched the hem of His garment in Matthew chapter 9, she was instantly healed. Why? Because Yod-Heh-Wah-Shanayan is the master engineer who has the power to override the system crash and restore the biological and spiritual frequency of Israel to its original, perfect design. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife, to defile thyself with her. We close out this second part with verse 20. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife, to defile thyself with her. This is the absolute prohibition against adultery. The Hebrew word for neighbor here is amit, spelled ayin, mem, yad, ta. Ayin is the eye, representing seeing, watching, or experiencing. Mem is the water, representing chaos or a mighty flow. Yad is the hand, representing work or active power. Ta is the mark, representing the covenant. So amit means the one you see and work with under the mark of the covenant. Your neighbor is your brother in the covenant. To sleep with his wife is an act of supreme biogenetic and spiritual treason. Let us look at the engineering under the hood. When a man lies with a woman, he is not just having a physical experience. He is executing a biometric authentication protocol. He is depositing his seed, which carries his entire genetic history, his ancestral data, and his spiritual frequency into her womb. The woman's body absorbs that data. If she is married, her system is already calibrated to her husband's frequency. When you inject a foreign seed into that calibrated system, you cause a massive data corruption called defilement. The Hebrew word for defilement here is tameh, which means to contaminate, to pollute, or to make unclean. You are literally polluting her biological temple and your own. This is why the Father hates adultery with a perfect hatred. It completely destroys the integrity of the family ledger. It introduces bastard seeds into the inheritance lines, leading to endless legal, social, and spiritual warfare. Look at our communities today. We have men sleeping with their neighbors' wives, running around like wild beasts, completely ignoring the firewalls of the Torah. Our families are broken. Our children do not know who their fathers are, and our bloodlines are full of confusion and disease. We are running the corrupted software of Babylon, and it is eating our system alive. But the truth is going forth, family. The master engineer is broadcasting his clean code, and we are handing you the blueprints to rebuild the walls. We have dissected the genetic firewalls of the family, and we have exposed the biological and spiritual science behind these laws. Now, we are ready to step into the final phase of this investigation. In part 3 of this episode, we are going to dive into the ultimate abominations, the fire of Molech, the abominations of sodomy, the confusion of beast mixing, and the terrifying judgment of a land that vomits out its inhabitants. Do not close your notebooks. Do not turn that dial, because the fire of the Torah is about to burn even hotter. Get ready for part 3. Part 3, the fire of Molech and the vomit of the land. We just exposed how the master engineer built genetic firewalls against adultery and physical defilement to keep the biological temple clean. Now, we are stepping directly into the final, most terrifying sector of Leviticus chapter 18, where the Father exposes the ultimate systemic hacks, the sacrificial slaughter of our genetic legacy, the hardware short circuits of sodomy, and the absolute confusion of beast mixing that triggers the land's automated purge protocol. Verses 21 through 25, the systemic exploits and the environmental purge. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am Yad-Heh-Wah-Heh. Look at verse 21. The master engineer is addressing the ultimate destruction of the covenant lineage. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. Let us break down the Paleo-Hebrew word for seed, which is Zerah, spelled Zion, Resh, Ayin. Zion is the weapon or the plowshare that cuts and harvests. Resh is the head of a man, representing the chief, the first, or the leader. Ayin is the eye, representing seeing, watching, or revealing. When you read the pictographs from left to right, Zerah literally means the weapon of the chief revealed to the eye. Your seed is the weapon of the Most High, engineered to conquer and rule this flat earth, carrying the visual manifestation of his strength from generation to generation. To take that seed and pass it through the fire to Molech is a direct, catastrophic hack of the biological storage media. Molech was a bronze monstrosity with the head of a bull and arms stretched out like a slide, heated by a raging furnace inside his hollow belly. The heathens would place their living babies onto those red-hot metal arms, watching their infant flesh sizzle, bubble, and melt into liquid fat, sliding down into the fire while the priests beat their drums to drown out the child's agonizing screams. It was a bloody, screaming horror of genetic deletion. Let us bridge this to modern technology, because you dumbass Negroes are running this exact same Molech software today and calling it reproductive health care. What do you think these abortion clinics are? They are modern temples of Molech. You are taking your engineered seed, your own biological data drives, carrying the DNA source code of Israel, and you are handing them over to the state to be sliced, diced, vacuumed out, and burned in biohazard incinerators. You are sacrificing your children to the corporate beast system for career advancement, financial convenience, and carnal freedom. It is the exact same sacrifice, just packaged in a clean, sterile, clinical environment. Yah says you are profaning his name. You are taking the holy name of Yad-Heh-Wah-Heh, the master engineer who compiled your DNA, and you are dragging his reputation through the mud of heathen blood rituals. This aligns with Jeremiah chapter 19, verse 5, where the Father declares, they built the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings, which he commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into his mind. It is a total system violation that carries an automatic death penalty. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. Now we hit verse 22, and we have to tear down the absolute lies of this modern, rainbow flag waving, sodomite loving society. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. Let us break down the Paleo-Hebrew word for abomination, which is taweva, spelled ta-ayin bet he. Ta is the cross sticks, representing a sign, a mark, or a covenant. Ayin is the eye, representing seeing or watching. Bet is the tent or house, representing the household. He is the man with raised hands, representing revealing, beholding, or breathing. So Taweva means the covenant eye beholding the defilement of the house. It is a visible breach of the covenant security perimeter that the Father sees and immediately flags for deletion. Let us look at the physical and electrical engineering under the hood of this law. The master engineer designed the male and female bodies with complementary polarities. Think of them as male and female connectors in an electrical circuit or a coaxial network cable. The male plug has the pin, the female jack has the receptacle. This is a basic hardware specification. When you connect a male plug to a female jack, you complete the circuit, allowing the current of life to flow and data to be transmitted, resulting in the replication of the system through childbirth. But when you try to force two male plugs together or two female jacks together, what happens? You get zero data transmission. You get a massive hardware mismatch that short circuits the electrical grid. Sodomy is a biological short circuit. It is trying to run a read-write operation on a closed port that was engineered strictly for waste output. It introduces toxic bacteria and cellular friction into a system that has no biological firewall to handle it, leading to the rapid degradation of the physical vessel. The church house cowards want to tell you that love is love and that Yah made people this way. That is a goddamn lie straight from the pits of hell. The master engineer does not write buggy code. He does not design hardware that is incompatible with his own operating system. Sodomy is a user-end hack, a virus downloaded through the lust of the flesh that completely scrambles the mental and spiritual processor. This is confirmed in Romans chapter 1, verses 26 to 27, where the apostle Shenalef Wa Lamed, Paul, explains that when men leave the natural use of the woman and burn in their lust one toward another, they receive in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat. It is an automatic biological feedback loop of disease, mental instability, and spiritual death. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast, to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast, to lie down thereto. It is confusion. Verse 23 shuts down the absolute sickness of beast mixing. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast, to defile thyself therewith. It is confusion. Let us break down the Paleo-Hebrew word for confusion, which is tabel, spelled ta-bet lamed. Ta is the mark or covenant. Bet is the tent or house. Lamed is the shepherd's staff, representing authority, instruction, or a yoke. Put that together, and tabel means the mark of the house's authority broken under a false yoke. Beast mixing is an act of supreme biological treason. It is trying to run animal firmware on human hardware. Let us look at the genetics here. Every species has a specific chromosome count and genetic structure engineered by the Most High to keep them within their design parameters. This is the biological firewall of Genesis chapter 1, where everything must reproduce after its kind. When a human attempts to cross this boundary through sexual union with a beast, They are attempting to inject foreign, non-compatible animal data into the sacred human database. It is a direct attack on the image of Elohim. The ancient Canaanites and Egyptians were practicing this filth as part of their religious rituals, trying to merge with animal spirits to gain primal power. It was absolute brainless madness, and it led to the physical and mental degradation of their entire population. Yah says it is confusion. It is a total disruption of the natural order, a virus that corrupts the operating system so deeply that the machine can no longer function. This aligns with Leviticus chapter 20, verse 15, which commands that if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beast. The animal must be destroyed because its biological field has been contaminated by the human transgression. The master engineer will not tolerate the corruption of his design. He will wipe the drive clean before he lets the virus spread. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. Look at verse 24. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. Let us break down the Paleo-Hebrew word for defiled, which is tameh, spelled tet, mem, aleph. Tet is the clay basket, representing containment, mud, or clay. Mem is the water, representing chaos, massive flow, or a mighty wave. Aleph is the ox head, representing strength or the leader. So tameh means containing the chaos of strength. When you defile yourself, you are taking the strength of your biological vessel and tracking it inside a container of chaotic, toxic waste. The Father is giving Israel a historical telemetry report here. He is saying, the nations that lived in this land before you were not cast out because I just felt like being mean. They were cast out because their entire societal operating system was infected with this sexual malware. The Canaanites had completely corrupted their hardware. Their DNA was degraded, their minds were scrambled, and their culture was a biohazard zone of disease and perversion. Think of Canaan as a server that was so infected with Trojans and spyware that the network administrator had no choice but to run a complete format of the hard drive. Yah cast them out to preserve the integrity of the network. But you simpleton Negroes want to move into the clean house and download the exact same viruses that destroyed the previous tenants. You want to listen to their music, watch their movies, adopt their lifestyles, and practice their abominations. And you think you are going to escape the system crash? That is absolute, pure delusion. The laws of spiritual and physical feedback are constant. If you run the Canaanite code, you will get the Canaanite result, period. And the land is defiled. Therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants. Verse 25 is a mind-blowing revelation of environmental engineering. And the land is defiled. Therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants. Let us break down the Paleo-Hebrew word for land, which is eretz, spelled Aleph, Resh, Sad. Aleph is the ox head of strength. Resh is the head of a man, meaning the chief or first. Sad is a trail or journey, representing a path, a harvest, or a destination. So eretz means the strength of the head guiding the journey. The land is not just dirt, family. The land is an engineered living ecosystem, a pressurized containment vessel with automated feedback loops designed to support the covenant journey of Israel. When the inhabitants of the land emit high-frequency filth, spilled seed, blood, and sexual perversion, they are injecting toxic data into the physical environment. The land absorbs the frequency of the people. If the people are running a clean, holy program, the land responds with agricultural abundance, clean water, and stable weather. But when the land is defiled by abominations, its environmental control systems are triggered. The land's automated antivirus software executes a purge protocol. The land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants. This is a literal statement of physics and biology. The land will reject a corrupted population through earthquakes, famines, droughts, pestilence, and economic collapse. It will make the environment so hostile that the people can no longer survive on it. Look at the Western world today, the modern archetype of Babylon and Canaan. The earth is shaking, the weather is going haywire, the crops are failing, and diseases are spreading like wildfire. Why? Because the land is sick of the sodomy, sick of the child sacrifice, sick of the beast mixing, and it is getting ready to vomit these wicked motherfuckers straight into the lake of fire. This aligns with Isaiah chapter 24 verses 5 to 6, which declares that the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. The planet itself is a machine that will crush you if you violate its operational parameters. Verses 26 through 30, the security protocols and the final system seal. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. Look at verse 26. The master engineer is establishing the security policy for the entire network. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. Let us break down that word stranger, because these lying Universalist church pastors have used this word to smuggle the heathen into our covenant. The Hebrew word behind stranger here is gur, spelled Gimel Resh. Gimel is the camel, representing lifting up, walking, or the foot. Resh is the head of a man, representing the chief or leader. So gur means the foot of the head returning. The gur is not a non-Israelite foreigner. The gur is a scattered Israelite, specifically from the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes who were driven off and lost their identity, who is returning to the camp, walking back under the authority of the chief. That is why there is one law for the native born and for the gur, because they are of the same bloodline, the same genetic family. The actual foreigner is the Nakar, and they have no part in this covenant. Yah is saying that every single node connected to the Israelite network must run the same clean security protocol. You cannot have a returning brother running corrupted Canaanite software in his tent while the rest of the camp is trying to maintain a clean environment. If you let one device run infected code, the virus will lateral move through the network and compromise the entire database. This is why the laws of separation are absolute. The camp of Israel must be a clean room, completely isolated from the biological and spiritual contamination of the heathen. This is confirmed in Numbers chapter 15, verse 16, which declares that one law and one manner shall be for you, and for the stranger, the gur, that sojourneth with you. It is a unified operating system for a unified nation. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. Verse 27 is the parenthetical telemetry log. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. The Father is reminding us of the historical data. He is saying, do not think you are special or immune to the system rules. The people who were here before you ran this exact same exploit, and it crashed their system. The Canaanites were not stupid people. They were highly advanced, building massive stone cities and agricultural systems. But they allowed their moral and biological firewalls to decay. They let the serpent seed software take over their processors. They thought they could violate the genetic and spiritual laws of the Creator and keep their empire. But they were wrong. Their civilization was wiped off the face of the flat earth, leaving nothing but ruins and dust. This is a warning to you scattered Negroes living in America, the Caribbean, Brazil, and Europe today. You are living in lands that are completely defiled by the abominations of the modern heathen. You are surrounded by a culture that celebrates sodomy, promotes child sacrifice through abortion, and mocks the laws of the Most High. If you continue to run their programs, you will be wiped out right along with them. This aligns with Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 5, which tells our ancestors that they did not go in to possess the land because of their own righteousness, but because of the wickedness of these nations. Yod-Heh, Waw-Heh did drive them out. The judgment is based on system compliance, not favoritism. If you act like a Canaanite, you will die like a Canaanite. That the land spew not you out also when ye defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. Look at the warning in verse 28. That the land spew not you out also when ye defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. The master engineer is telling us that the environmental purge protocol is completely non-discriminatory. It is an automated system response. Let us look at this through the lens of modern software engineering. If you write an automated script that deletes any file containing a specific virus signature, that script does not care who wrote the file. It does not care if the file is named Israel or Canaan. It only looks for the signature. If the signature is present, the script executes the delete command. Yah is telling our people, if you carry the signature of these abominations, the land will execute the delete command on you, just like it did on the Canaanites. And guess what, family? That is exactly what happened. Our ancestors went into that beautiful, flowing land, and within a few generations, they started sleeping with their sisters, sacrificing their babies to Molech, and practicing the sodomy of the heathen. They ignored the flashing red lights on the dashboard. And what did the land do? It spewed them the hell out. The Father brought the Assyrians to carry the northern kingdom into captivity, and he brought the Babylonians to burn Jerusalem to the ground, leaving the land desolate and empty. The land vomited our ancestors out because they defiled it. This is confirmed in Leviticus chapter 20, verse 22, where the Father repeats this exact warning. Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land, whither I bring you to dwell therein, spew you not out. It is a constant, immutable law of spiritual geography. For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people. Verse 29 is the quarantine and deletion protocol. For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people. Let us break down the Paleo-Hebrew word for cut off, which is karat, spelled kaf, resh, ta. Kaf is the open palm, representing bending, taming, or opening. Resh is the head of a man, representing the chief or leader. Ta is the crossed sticks, representing the mark of the covenant. So karat means the hand of the chief, marking the rebellious head for removal. When a soul commits these abominations, they are marked with a digital tombstone in the system registry. They are disconnected from the life support systems of the covenant. In the ancient camp of Israel, being cut off meant literal physical execution or permanent banishment into the wilderness to die of exposure and starvation. It was a necessary quarantine measure to protect the rest of the population from biological and spiritual infection. If you have a computer on a network that is actively broadcasting malware and trying to hack the domain controller, what does the network administrator do? He does not try to reason with the computer. He does not send it a nice email. He goes to the switch and pulls the damn Ethernet cable. He cuts it off from the network to protect the integrity of the database. Yah is the ultimate network administrator. If you insist on running the software of sodomy, child sacrifice, and genetic defilement, he will personally sever your connection to the tree of life. Your physical body will rot with disease, your mind will descend into madness, and your name will be completely erased from the book of life. This aligns with Genesis chapter 17, verse 14, which declares that the uncircumcised male who breaks the covenant shall be cut off from his people. It is a permanent system purge. Therefore shall ye keep my ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs, which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am Yad-Heh-Wah-Heh, your Elohim. We close the chapter with verse 30. Therefore shall ye keep my ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs. I am Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, your Elohim. The master engineer signs his name to the bottom of the security policy. I am Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, your Elohim. This is the final system seal, the digital signature that authenticates the entire document. He is telling Israel that the only way to survive on this flat earth is to keep his ordinances. The abominable customs of the heathen are not just alternative lifestyles. They are weapons of mass biological destruction designed by the serpent seed to wipe out the chosen bloodline. When you look at our people today, scattered across the four corners of this flat earth, we are living in the absolute depth of these abominations. We have broken every single firewall in Leviticus chapter 18. Our families are destroyed by incest and adultery. Our women are murdering their babies in abortion clinics. Our men are sleeping with men, and our communities are completely defiled. We are running a Canaanite operating system at maximum capacity, and we are wondering why we are at the bottom of every social, economic, and physical index. We are wondering why our bodies are riddled with cancer, diabetes, and high blood pressure. It is because we have violated the manufacturer's manual. We have hacked our own hardware, and the system is crashing. But the seal is broken, family. The truth is going forth on this broadcast, and the Father is giving you one last chance to format your hard drive, clear the cache of your rebellion, and download the clean code of the Torah. Altar call and closing declaration. Listen to me, you scattered children of Yad Shin Resh Aleph Lamed. This is not a game, and this is not some religious sermon to make you feel good. This is a direct, high-frequency broadcast from the throne room of the Most High, and you are being called to an immediate, radical decision. If you have been running the software of this wicked world, if you have been practicing the abominations of sodomy, if you have been supporting or participating in the sacrifice of your children through abortion, if you have been defiling your biological temple with the sexual perversion of the Canaanites, you are in a state of extreme system vulnerability. The antivirus software of the land is scanning your vessel right now, and if it finds the signature of these abominations, you will be spewed out into outer darkness, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. You must repent today. And I am not talking about some cheap, emotional church house repentance where you cry at an altar on Sunday and go back to your filth on Monday. I am talking about a complete, system-wide reboot. You must format your mind, delete the corrupted files of Babylon, and return to the strict, engineered boundaries of the Torah. If you are an Israelite man, you must step into your position of authority and protect the genetic and spiritual integrity of your household. If you are an Israelite woman, you must submit to the divine order of creation and reject the Jezebel witchcraft of modern feminism that tells you to destroy your womb and rebel against your head. We must clean our tents, family. We must rebuild the firewalls. We must return to the plant-based diet of Genesis chapter 1, verse 29 to heal our physical hardware from the putrefaction of dead flesh. And we must keep the Sabbath, Saturday, from sunrise to sunset to keep our spiritual frequency aligned with the master engineer. This is Brother Betzadeh Lamed Aleph Lamed, signing off from this three-part investigation into Leviticus chapter 18. I want to thank every single dedicated brother and sister who tuned in to Yah First Ministries. Do not let this truth sit in your notebooks. Share this broadcast, shout it from the rooftops, and wake up our sleeping people before the land executes the final purge protocol. Keep your eyes on the skies, keep your minds in the Torah, and always put Yah first. I leave you with a single of my group's upcoming album called Covenant and Keys. This is armor up, because in these last days, you definitely want to be covered in his armor. Shalom, family.
Soon as my feet, soon as Soon as my feet hit the floor, I know what time it is. Another day in Babylon, spiritual battle biz. Can't step out this house without my armor on tight. Ephesians 6:10 through 18, that's my daily fight. Belt of truth buckle first, lies can't penetrate. Wrapped around my waist secure, standing firm and straight. Breastplate of righteousness covering my chest and heart. Protecting my emotions, that's where the real war starts. World trying to corrupt me, temptation everywhere, but my heart is guarded proper when my armor's worn with care. Feet fitted with the gospel, ready peace to bring. Stepping through the chaos with the message of the King. Shield of faith in my hand, fiery darts deflected. Every lie the enemy throws immediately rejected. Helmet of salvation sitting heavy on my head, protecting all my thinking from the poison that they spread. Sword of the spirit, that's the word I'm swinging sharp. Offensive weapon ready, cutting straight into the heart. This ain't metaphorical, this is literal and real. Daily putting on the armor, that's the covenant seal. Armor up, can't face the day without it. Spiritual equipment, there ain't no way around it. From the belt to the sword, every piece is necessary. Walking through the battlefield, armor legendary. Armor up, suit up for the war. Can't be caught naked when the enemy's at your door. Israel in full battle gear, ready for the fight. Armor up every morning, armor up every night. They walking out here naked, spiritually exposed. No protection on their mind, heart, or soul, I suppose. Wonder why they falling, wonder why they getting hit. Cause they trying to fight a war without the proper kit. You can't battle Babylon in your regular clothes. You need supernatural covering from your head to your toes. This ain't fashion, this is function, this is life or death. This is standing or falling with every single breath. Belt of truth means I'm honest in everything I do. No lies in my mouth, no deception coming through. Breastplate means my motive's pure, my heart is right. Living righteously daily, walking in the light. Gospel shoes means I'm ready to share the good news. Not ashamed of my identity, not confused about my roots. Shield of faith means I'm trusting when I cannot see. Believing in the promises they all spoke over me. It means my mind is made up, I know who I am. Not tossed around by doctrine, standing firm where I stand. So it means I'm offensive, not just playing defense. Speaking truth in power, making spiritual sense. Prayer and supplication, that's the activation key. Armor's on but useless if you're not on your knees. Armor up, can't face the day without it. Spiritual equipment, there ain't no way around it. From the belt to the sword, every piece is necessary. Walking through the battlefield, armor legendary. Armor up, suit up for the war. Can't be caught naked when the enemy's at your door. Israel in full battle gear, ready for the fight. Armor up every morning, armor up every night. Morning routine critical, can't skip the preparation. Putting on the armor is a daily dedication. Rushing out the door without it, that's a fatal mistake. First thing in the morning while you're barely awake. Stand in front of the mirror, visualize the gear. Belt, breastplate, shoes, declare you have no fear. Shield and helmet ready, sword sharp